Maurice and Zindy, how y'all doing? Good to see you. Uh, if either one of you want to come up, there's the link. You're more than welcome. Uh, like I said, always love to have company. We're just trying to get things done here. Uh, so sorry about that. My one phone's going to need some charging, so that's what I'm doing, putting it on the charger. So welcome. I know it's the 3rd of March in the Philippines where you guys are at. And for me, March 3rd is, which for me to be in a few hours, will be 25 years since I quit smoking. Yeah, I used to be a heavy smoker. I smoked over a pack a day for over 27 years. So I still haven't quit as long as I smoked. But I feel a lot better since I quit smoking. Uh, Now, when I get a cold, my chest doesn't hurt as much as when I cough. All that good, happy stuff. So if you don't smoke, don't ever start. Take it from an ex smoker. The pleasure that you may get out of it is not worth the pain that it'll cause later on. Uh, so, yeah. So here's the 20. That's Coke Zero, folks. Here's the 25 years of being smoke free tomorrow. Well, in about 5 hours, I'll be smoke free for 25 years. It was the hardest thing I did was give up smoking. I dreamt about cigarettes for about a year after I quit. So, it's tough, but we got it done. Like I said, I'm quite proud that I was able to do that. I hope you're still there. We're waiting on some others, but like I said, Zindy or Larice, if you want to come on up. We'll talk. Otherwise, this if somebody doesn't come up and talk with me, this will be a short one. Yes, I rearranged the camera a little bit. You can see my bed. Like I said, I am in my bedroom when I'm on my computer, my desktop. If I'm on my laptop, I'm in my living room. I've had both of those computers for quite some time. Uh, but I rarely get on my laptop. It's older. I use it for travel. When I go somewhere, I'll take it with me. Like when I go back home and visit the family, I take my laptop with me. I'll do my live streams on that. If I'm stop at a hotel and spend the night in a hotel, I'll check my YouTube. I'll follow some of the YouTubers, some of you guys, and try to keep up on the laptop. But otherwise, I use my phone and do that quite a bit. Not as much when I'm on vacation, but I still try to keep up a little bit. Zindy, I'm very happy to see you here. Uh, and I'm glad Larice is here as well. Oh, excuse me. I had a good day today. It was my day off. I'm also off tomorrow, but it was a rainy day today. It rained almost all day, or drizzled at least. The drizzle is a light rain. Uh, I got I didn't get as many steps in as normal. I don't even think I got 5,000 steps in yet for the day. I usually get somewhere between 8 and 10,000 steps, except for on the weekend. I seem to do a little less. I seem to be more of a homebody now than I used to be. I don't know if that's because I'm getting older, or if that's because, well, I no longer care to go to bars. I don't go out to restaurants that often anymore. Uh, I'm like I said, I'm much more of a homebody now. Uh, so I do stick around. And the nice thing about being a homebody, I don't spend as much money. I know when I was a drinker, I go out and I spend money I didn't have. That happened quite a bit. Uh, and it got me in a lot of trouble. I got in a lot of trouble buying stuff I really didn't need in the past. I'm trying to eliminate that. Well, I'm trying to be more frugal with my money. And so far, it seems to be working. I have more money in the bank than I've ever had in my entire life. I don't have a lot of money, folks. Don't get me wrong. I'm not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but there's times I live from paycheck to paycheck, month to month. I'm not doing that now. I can miss a paycheck or two, and I'll be okay. Uh, I miss too many paychecks, so I'm back in trouble. So but like I said, I'm in a lot better shape than I've ever been in my life as far as emergency money in the in the bank. Uh, yeah, I know I could take some of that money and pay off one of my bills and pay down another one. But I want to do it the way I'm doing it so I continue to have that money in the bank in case something comes up and I need it. And so I don't have to put it on a credit card. That's what's always gotten me in trouble in the past. Or also buying stuff I really didn't need that I didn't have the cash for. I just wanted it. So now I'm trying to, if I want it, if I don't have the cash, I wait till I have the cash to buy it. I'm not buying stuff I don't need on the credit card. Right now, I'm not even buying stuff I need on the credit card because, like I said, I got the cash right now. And now I'm not saying I don't use the credit card to pay for something. I do. I got one credit card I pay off every month. But if I got to order something online, I use that credit card, and then when the bill comes due each month, it's paid off. Like I said, it's taken me years. I have been a very poor money manager all my life. Uh, Now my sisters have all been real good with money, all four of them, and but my father, both my brothers, and myself, we're we're the exact opposite. We've always been very poor with money. My father and my older brother, I think, were the worst. I'm probably the second worst, third worst, if not. Well, I might be the fourth. Gary might have been. My younger brother might have been a little worse than me, but I don't think he was. I think I was. I think my brother, my oldest brother, my dad was just as bad as each other, if not worse. And I think I was just a step below them for a long time. And like I said, it took me a long time to learn. But if you hit me hard enough in the head or in the pocketbook, I eventually do learn. It just takes a while sometimes. I'm a little hard headed and a little stubborn. I'm hoping I learn. I mean, we won't know that until a year or so from now. Uh, but that's all right. I'm trying, and we'll see. And if everything goes right, I will have done it. But right now, it's a step the right direction. Like I said, I've never had this much money in the bank that if something comes up, I have the cash to cover it. Because before, I always took the money and paid on that, try to get that paid off. And when something came up, emergency came up, or something else came up where I had to have cash, I had to put it on a credit card, which is not a good thing. And I just kept doing that over and over. And also, once I got out of debt, I started buying stuff I really didn't need, didn't have the cash for. I thought, I'm out of debt now. I can afford to go back in a little bit. And I'd get myself in trouble. So if I ever do, I've never been married. All right, I'll let you all know that right now. Those that are here, just a couple of you are here, though. I'll tell both of you right now, I've never been married. And but if I ever do get married, hey, Aileen, how you doing, Aileen? Aileen, as I was saying, I've never been married. But if I ever do get married, I hope she's a lot better at handling money than I am, or at least, no. Let's be honest about it. Hopefully, she's a whole lot better than I am at handling money. Uh, but that's something we'll have to see. I don't know. I don't plan on ever getting married, but that's something else we'll have to see. I can't foresee what the Lord has for me in the future. As most of you would know, as I've told you all before, my mother is 98 years old, and I'm not going anywhere in this world except for here in the States uh, until my mother passes. Now, she's 98. She keeps saying she doesn't want to live to be 100. Hey, but like I said, she's 98. She keeps telling everybody she doesn't want to live to be 100. And as I told her, and so my sisters told her, that's the good Lord's decision, not ours. And she knows it. But she still says she doesn't want to live to be 100. And like I said, her dad, lived to be 92. Her older brother lived to be 92. Now, her dad's dad, her granddad, my great grandfather, he lived to be about 92, and he's the one I'm named after. I missed his birthday by just a few hours. I was born at 9 o'clock at night on the 16th, and he was born on the 17th, I guess, because my mom said it was just a few hours. But I missed his birthday. And she gave me his nickname. His nickname was Larry. His real name was Lawrence, but my mom didn't like the name Lawrence, so she named me Larry. She thought Lawrence sounded too stuffy. She told me that. That's why she named me Larry, not Lawrence, but she named me after her grandfather. Now, I do have family members that don't believe I can dig myself out of debt and stay out of debt. And that's their prerogative. Because, like I said, in the past, I've got out of debt and went right back into it very shortly after I done it. So they have that right to believe that if that's their wish. But I don't want to hear it. I think I can do it. I would prefer encouragement and not negativity. But they want to be negative, they can be negative. I can't change that. That's their thing. My thing is I'm going to do the best I can, and hopefully that'll be good enough. But I told most of you, if I have my health after mom passes, and I want to do 3 years counting this year before, even if my mom passes before that, because I want to have a savings. So when I do move, because like I said, if I have my health, I want to move to the Philippines. And I got to have a savings so I can set myself up. And I got to have enough money to get myself back to the States in case it doesn't work out. Those are things, those are goals. And that's what I want to do. And that's what I'll do if the good Lord's willing. So I'll do what I can to make it happen. Well, Eileen, fresh air does everybody some good. One of the things I don't like about really large cities, there's a lot of pollution in the air. But I don't like the country life because I find that quite boring. I mean, I can handle the boring country life for a few days, maybe a week or so. But I was raised in a small city or a big town, depending on your point of view. And that's what I prefer. My hometown was around, let's say around 70,000 people, give or take a few thousand. But it had a couple shopping centers, one mall, a couple shopping centers, and movie theaters, restaurants, and bowling alley, skating rink. Hey, Jerry, welcome, buddy. If you want to come up, come on up. So that's kind of I like that kind of entertainment. Like I said, I really don't drink anymore, so I really don't plan on getting back in the bar scene. It's just I spend too much money when I was doing that. I spent so much money drinking, I could have bought a home. Matter of fact, I probably could have bought 2 homes with the money I spent on booze over my lifetime, and a couple of really nice cars too, along with that. So I wasted a lot of money going to bars and drinking and doing that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of over that. It's not that I'm against drinking; it's that I'm against doing it to excess. I would rather go to a friend's house and have a nice cold drink and walk home, or spend the night because I don't drink and drive anymore. I gave that up. Have some friends come over and we'll have a drink or two. And and they can spend the night if they don't like to drink or drive. But right now, I don't have any booze in my place. The people I run around with don't drink, so I don't drink. Like I said, because I'm not drinking and driving. The last time I had a drink, I stayed with a relative, and we got Jerry coming up. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Welcome, sir.
Okay. It's okay. It's a mild day. It was cold Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
No, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, but mild yesterday and warm today.
Yeah, well, it was real nice here on Thursday.
Yeah, it was chilly.
But it was cold in the morning, but it turned really nice Thursday afternoon and later. Friday
Oh,
was
you got a
nice.
cold? You got a
I got a
cold?
slight cold. I got a slight
Okay.
cold. Hey, Mingay, how you doing? But so anyway, but like what was it? Wednesday, it was bitter cold. I mean, it was down like 23.
That is cool. It's
Yeah,
way
it was
cold.
about like 8 below Celsius, like 7 to 8 below, well, about 6 below Celsius. And
Yeah.
that was probably the high. And then
When
it had the dampness in it and the wind. It just bitter. I mean, bitter cold.
yeah, here was really windy on Tuesday out of the south, and then Wednesday when the cold front came in, it was really windy, but out of the north,
Yeah.
and cold for us because we were in the 50s, low
Well, like,
50s.
well, like I said, I got up Thursday, and it had rained some Wednesday night. Or was that? But yeah, it was Wednesday night, and I thought it was going to snow. Then I guess it turned to rain overnight, and then I got up and I went out, and then that little tray, on the front of your windshield, where the windshield wipers, that little tray there,
Yeah.
was ice,
Eesh.
solid ice. And hey, Jamie, how you doing, man? If you want to come up, come on up, Jamie. Tell everybody about your channel. Jamie's a Canadian. He lives close to Danny from Road to the Philippines.
Mhm.
They don't live too far apart. They're good friends. Hey, Mike, how you doing, Mike? And they live over there in Mindanao.
Oh, way down there.
Yeah, well, that's where Danny lives. Danny lives just outside of Davao, a little bit just outside of Davao, and Jamie didn't live too far from him, from my understanding. They live in the same area. And how's Ottawa, Canada doing? Jamie's probably close to you there, Mike. I don't know if you know Jamie or not. Off the cuff adventures with Jamie. He's a Canadian as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I
Maybe
understand that, Jamie.
I had a dream in Chris about Chris in Cebu
Yeah.
about Monday or Tuesday of this week. I was in some school. I don't know. It was in Texas, somewhere. And I saw him teaching, but I recognized him right away. Said, "Hey, Chris," and then he just told me, "Oh, I'm a teacher now." But then, of course, you wake up.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever dreamt Chris before.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever dreamt about Chris either.
But yeah, I dreamt him, and he was
I
a
I
teacher.
always enjoyed his channel, especially his live streams. They were so entertaining.
Yeah, they
All
were.
the interaction with the people in the chat that would have the interactions with each other, ask questions. Well, that's why I changed my channel name to Lazy Larry with Chris, because there was a Larry B, a Larry G,
Yeah.
and so Larry Lee, the three of us sounded very similar. So if he was asking one of us a question, you might not realize which one he was talking to. At least I
Yeah.
might not. So I changed it to Lazy Larry. And then later I changed it to Lazy Larry Lee, because if you looked up Lazy Larry,
Be in the bottom of the list.
yeah. And so I changed it back to Lazy Larry Lee because I became the top of the list. So, Jamie, you retired last week. Well, now, Jamie, are you moving back to the Philippines for good, or just flying back to visit with your honey? I know Danny's coming just after you for a visit, but Danny's not retired yet. He can't wait till he retires, though. And Crystal, how you doing, man? How you doing? Welcome. And so I've got my bed in the background. I decided to change the camera angle a little bit, see how I like it. It puts me more in the center, so I don't know. We may stay this way, we may not. But just to show you all, I know in the Philippines they have these things too. Whoops, let me drop that down. I have one of those dream catchers back here above my bed. And I saw somebody was at the top of Cebu, or top of the world, or whatever they call that up there. That restaurant outside of Cebu is up in the mountain area, and they were at a store there, and they had dream catchers. I guess it serves the same kind of purpose as the Plains Indians dream catchers, and I thought that was very interesting. I used to follow Melanie, not Melanie, Melanie Jane, Mel Jane Salone. I think it was her that was up there with one of her girlfriends. And I saw that and I asked him about it. But Yes, Mike, you're right. She does work very hard to support her family. And so, I bought that. Actually, there's a place out west. It's a it's an Indian school, and they sell those. I used to send them money. I haven't done it for a while. I used to send them money to help support the school, and that was something you would get in the way of thanks and stuff. And my sister, my oldest sister, and her husband was out west, and they saw the school and they went and visited, and they said it's really like what the picture, what they say, and so I'm glad I helped support them a little bit. I've not been doing as much here recently. I try to. There we go. Get that like that. In my eyes a little bit, but so anyway, we do that. We got to figure out what we can do and what we can't do. And I do still support some things that I probably shouldn't, because, like I said, I'm trying to dig my way out of debt. But that's all right. If I get out of debt, I get out of debt. And when I get out of debt, it's up to me when I get out of debt, not somebody else. I guess that's not working for some reason. So we're trying to, work my way through things and get some things done. And like I said, my goal is to get out of debt this year. And I could do it quicker, but like I said, that's the way I used to do it in the past. I'd throw all my extra money at the bills. Then if something came up, I had no money and I had to put it on a credit card. Right now, I could go back to Indiana, take a couple of weeks off, and still cover all my bills. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm glad you're joking, because I don't believe in filing bankruptcy. When I created the bills, it's something I've always believed that I'm a responsible human being, and I don't mind asking, getting a hold of the bank and asking for, hey, can I get a lower interest rate to help me out? I've done that. But I don't believe in bankruptcy. I don't believe in going to them and say, hey, look, I'm filing bankruptcy. I don't owe you anything. No, I'll pay my bills. And when I went and talked to them, they issued as a loan with a much lower interest. Matter of fact, they made it a home loan, and I don't even have a home, but they gave me that kind of interest. Hey, Tim, how you doing? Alabama, how you doing, man? Welcome, everybody. I'm glad you're here. So like I said, I do believe in paying my bills. I've always believed that. I've had other people, and I mean, they were serious, saying, well, just file bankruptcy. You're in that kind of a jam, just file bankruptcy. And it's like, no, I can't do that. I mean, I'll ask for help in lowering the interest, but I'm not going to just go in and say, no, I'm not paying you guys. And I do know somebody that did that. And they went to a lawyer, and the lawyer told them, oh, well, you might as well try to go in another $5,000 in debt and really make sure you get out of it. So what they did, and I won't say who they were, I mean, it was somebody I knew, and I worked with them. So they went on vacation to Hawaii for a couple of weeks and spent over $5,000. I came back and then filed for bankruptcy, got bankruptcy. So basically, they went on a trip to Hawaii for free. I mean, I find that as not very ethical, I should say.
If you can afford a lawyer, then you could have afforded to pay that bill.
Yeah. Well, they claimed it was a ex that drove up their bills.
But it'd be that or themselves. It's still the same scenario.
Yeah. Like I said, go to the bank and say, hey, look, this is killing me. Can I get a lower interest rate? They have these, and they advertise a lot, that if you're more than $10,000 in debt, you can get a hold of these people, and they'll structure your debt that it's a lower interest, smaller payments, and you get out of debt much quicker because it's at an interest instead of, all right, if you have a credit card and you just pay the minimum rate, let's say it's $10,000 is what you owe. It'll take you 14 to 20 years to get out of debt, to pay that off. if all you pay is the minimum rate amount due each month. But so it's just like, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not paying the minimum. I'm paying more than double or triple the minimum. In some cases, quadruple to even 5 times the minimum, depending on how large the minimum is. One bill I'm paying 10, 20, almost 30 times the minimum because I want it paid off. And it will be paid off either this month, depends on how I want to do it, or next month. And so, that's what I got to decide with on this next payment. Do I want to pay it completely off or take another month to do it? Then after that, I start nailing the other one, and then I'm done. And like I said, I do have a credit card that I use when I buy something. Like if I buy something from Amazon, I have an Amazon credit card. It goes on the card. When the bill comes in each month, it's paid off. I don't buy anything I can't pay off that month. Not anymore. I used to, but I'm not doing that anymore. If I can't pay it off that month, it's not getting bought until I can pay it off that month. And so, like I said, it's taken me years and years to learn this, and I can't guarantee that I'll be able to stick to this because, like I said, I'm a person that likes to do things, and I like spending money. I'll be honest about it, but I'm trying to get that under control. Like I was telling the girls before you guys got here, that if I'm lousy with handling money, I'm trying to become much better. But and I've never been married, so in case you guys didn't know that, I've never been married. But if I ever do get married, she better be good at handling money, or be able to be good at keeping me in line with money. One or the other. Either she's got to be on me about my money all the time, or she better be taking good care of it. Because when I retire, I'm not going to have thousands and thousands of dollars a month coming in.
Yep.
Wish to God I would, but I won't. And like I said, I've been a security officer most of my adult life. Believe me, I'm not going to have a large Social Security check. It'll be enough to live in the Philippines quite comfortably, especially for one person. But even for 2 or 3, it'll be very comfortable if we handle the money right. And when I say comfortable, we'll have the bills paid, the food paid. We'll be able to go out to eat once or twice a week if we really want, or travel around close by. I don't mean go island hopping. If we do the island hopping thing, it won't be every month. I guarantee you that. I won't have that kind of cash. But that's all right. That's not what I want to do. I want to go. Hey, Deborah. How you doing, Deborah? Welcome to the channel. I'm glad to see you. Deborah, all right, everybody, in case you can't read my the script, in case you're on a cell phone and watching, if you type in LLL, my Nightbot will drop your link. So Deborah, Jamie, Tim, you guys, and Jerry, y'all just type in 3 L's, and my Nightbot will drop your links. So other people, and Larice, you too, I forgot you were here almost. And Zindy, if you have a channel, you do it as well. And I'm doing quite well. I got a cold, but I'm doing well outside of that. And we're getting better. I mean, earlier in the week, I had a real bad sore throat. And now it's a little sore when I get up in the morning, but I try not to mouth breathe, but it does happen occasion. And that will cause a sore throat for me a little bit. But I've been gargling with warm salt water. That's something my mom always had me do when I was a kid. Many of you ladies in the chat advised me to do the same thing, so thank you. I've been trying to get a little more sleep. What was it? Wednesday night, I believe it was. We had a real bad windstorm here in this area, and the power got knocked out here at home. As many of you know, I have sleep apnea, and I use a CPAP machine. And so the power went off around 12, close to 12:30, a little before, but right around 12:30. And when the power goes out, my CPAP stops working, and I instantly wake up. I may not know why I woke up for a moment or two, but I instantly wake up, and then I realize what happened. Now, the power came back on. There was a pop. There was a bright light outside the apartment. Power went off, and it did that a couple times. Hey, Anime, how you doing? And Anime, you don't have. Let me give you a. Hang on, let's add you as a monitor. There you go, Anime. But anyway, that happened a couple times, and then the power was off the rest of the night. So I did not get back to sleep. I had about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours at the most, but about 2 hours sleep. Wednesday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, I believe it was. I believe it was Wednesday morning. I could be wrong. I'd have to. But I got very little sleep that night. I was just dead tired the whole next day. Yeah, no, it was Wednesday morning. And so when I came home Thursday, I went to bed. I went to bed early, got a decent sleep, but I got a much better sleep last night. Still trying to catch up from that night of no sleeping, and so that's what was my week this week. Just really dead tired. I was going to take Monday off this week, but one of my officers couldn't come in to cover for me, so I worked Monday. I was going to go to annual training here in New York. Once you get your guard card, which is a 16-hour guard training. After that, every year after that, you have to get every 2 years, you got to have 2 8-hour annual trainings. They prefer you do it every year, 1 8, and then 8 the next year. That's a lot of eggs there, buddy.
Yeah, there's half a dozen.
So my guard card expires this November. So I'm going to renew it one more time. And that's my plan, is just one more time. Unless something happens, then I may do it again. But that'll be worst case scenario. I'll have to do it twice. But I don't plan on it. But I might do it twice just to work from November till my rent is up in March each year. So maybe I'll do it till so I can work till March the following year. I might do that. I might even work a little longer because I think I can extend my rent by 3 months. And that way, when I'm traveling, it won't be winter time, but I don't think I'll have any problem leaving here during the winter, except for maybe catching your flight out. We get a lot of snow and ice, and that can really hinder my travel plans. So we may do that. That's too far down the road right now. Also, what I'm thinking about doing, a friend of mine, and she was the one suggesting this. I'll maybe take her up on that. She was suggesting that I apply for a seniors housing place because they're cheaper than the rent I'm paying now. And there's a waiting list. And I may do that, and in case I can't leave, so that'll be a backup plan. And they're cheaper, and a lot of their rent includes your utilities. Where here, my utilities is separate, so it really raises the cost of living for the place I'm living. As I've said, I'm in decent shape, but that's only because I got Social Security and I work both. I could do it with just work, but I would not be digging my way out of debt without the other. Not like I am. It would take me a lot longer without my Social Security. I'll be honest. I know some people think, you don't want to talk about too much. I figure this way: if everybody knows what I say, how's it going to be used against me? I'm not lying about it. Like I said, I'm a poor boy. I mean, now in the Philippines, with the money I got coming in, I'd be rich. All right, but that's with me working in my Social Security. Now, once I quit working, I'll be probably middle class, right around middle class with the money I'll have coming in from my Social Security, but not rich.
Yeah, I should do.
Yeah, like I said, what I'll have coming in from my Social Security, I'll be able to live comfortably in the Philippines if I find the right place.
If Bama could survive on $500 a month, $600. Shouldn't be a problem.
No, like I said, I want to. My problem is I don't want to be out in the province, so it'll cost me a little more. All right, I happen to be a small city or a big town boy. That's my lifestyle, and that's what I want to continue doing. That. Now, Cebu may be too big for me. I've lived in towns that big before, but that's back when I was younger. I was more into the nightlife than I'm going to be now. But I figure I'll go there, check it out. But I may end up in like Iloilo, Oromocc, which is in Leyte, or Taglaban, I think it's also in Leyte. There's Iloilo, there's Dumaguete, there's if I can find the right place, Valencia would be nice.
Where's
But
Valencia at?
Valencia is right outside of Dumaguete. It's up
Visayas?
the mountain area, so it's a little cooler. You use your electricity a little less. But most of the places I've seen up there are a little more pricey than I would want. But I'm sure they got some places up there that I might be able to afford. But like I said, they're going to be a small town, but you're not that far outside of Dumaguete, which is doable. You know, as long as I'm close to a good-sized town where I can pop in every day if I want to take advantage of their entertainment, their shopping, which is fine. Because where I live right now, it's the same basic thing. I live in Waterville. It's a very small area, not much there. You know, they got some restaurants and stuff, but I've not seen a good shopping mall or anything like that there. But I'm not far from the city, or not far from the city that has it. Not Albany. I'm talking about other areas that I would go into that have the malls, the movie theaters, and all that good happy stuff. And so, you know, I can, with a car, I can pop in anytime I want. Now, if I lived in Dumaguete, not Dumaguete, but if I lived in Valencia, I'd have to get a motorbike or something. It's just that simple. But in Dumaguete or Cebu, I could probably get by without a motorized vehicle. That's why I'm thinking something a little bit bigger. I don't know how much I really want to drive. I know I don't want a two-wheel scooter anymore, but they do have those three-wheelers. They do have little, the type of, like, I don't know if you guys ever watched Bud Brown. He had one of the things I'm talking about. It's a motorcycle, but it's got two wheels, a place for the other people sat in the back, and with seats there. I think Turquoise Sunrise had one too at one time. No, excuse me, Turquoise Sunsets, not Sunrise, Sunsets.
Those are three-wheelers, aren't they?
Yeah, they're like a three-wheeler, but they're covered. The top is covered
It's all canopy.
with canopy. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw a whole bunch of those there, but it's that's good for the city because it doesn't go that fast.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If I bought one of those, I would not be in Cebu. It'd be more like Dumaguete or Valencia, because you're not that far outside of Dumaguete.
Yeah,
Yeah, they drove those in. But now if you watch Turquoise Sunsets, he's married and has two kids. Bud Brown, his wife Gloria, would always ride in the back. They even had a chariot, but I wouldn't want a chariot. That's more like a work vehicle to me. But like I said, it's just, there's just things you gotta. All this you have to take in consideration. You know, do you want a vehicle? The nice thing about having your own vehicle is you can take off and go somewhere on your own. Now, all you're going to be out is the gas and time. You know, and if you go somewhere, what it costs when you're there. I mean, but there's people that you can just go out for a drive. And I'm not going to have a car in the Philippines. I already know that. But like I said, I wouldn't trust myself in a car with the traffic there.
I wouldn't even want to drive there.
That's what I'm saying. It would all depend on where I live. I would not drive in Cebu. There's no way. I don't know if I would even drive in Dumaguete. It would have to be a much smaller town. But Valencia is a much smaller town. Iloilo is great for bicycles. That would be a way of getting around. They have the what do they call that? The Riverwalk. And so their motorized vehicles aren't allowed on it. People either walk and they got a lot of bicycle paths. They're a bike-friendly city. So depending on how far you had to go, a bicycle might do it, especially when the weather's nice. All that, like I said, the thing I'm worried about the most is I want to be close to a good hospital. And there are some good hospitals in the Philippines. Some of the best hospitals are, well, in your large cities here in the States, and your best ones would probably be in Manila. So do I want to live up close to Manila? That's just things I got to consider. And but I will not live in Manila. That's way too large, way too polluted. And you can get around without driving outside of Manila. They got buses that go in, but how far do you want to ride the bus? How long does it take? That's why I don't want to. I probably won't live up in that area because it'd take me too long to get to the hospital. I think if I needed to go to the hospital, so Cebu, they're right there. Where I'd be living, they wouldn't be that far away from me. And Cebu's much smaller, but Cebu's much smaller than Manila. But there again, it may still be too big. But I won't know that till I go there. If I had to bet, I'd probably bet it's going to be too large. Because like I said, I'm not into the nightlife. I don't want to get into the nightlife again. I don't want to get into the bars and all that happy stuff. I did that when I was younger. And I did it for way too many years. And so I need to stay away from it.
I quit that stuff shortly after I turned 21.
Not me.
Yeah, I got bored of it. I started
I can't even say I quit it at 41. I slowed down by 41.
I don't know why. Like the topless bars, I went and started at 17.
Yeah. Well,
so I got bored.
Bars 18. But then again, it was legal in Illinois at 18. There was a lot of states that was 18 was the legal age for drinking back in the 70s. Matter of fact, the Navy, the military, and I think, hey Cindy, how you doing? And I don't think it was just Navy, but I know when I was in boot camp, the drinking age for military people was dropped to 18 when I was in boot camp. Now, if you were in a state that said 21, which California was 21, you could only drink beer, and it was 3-2 beer. But if the state said drinking age was legal, then you could drink whatever that state would let you drink on base. And they quit serving 3-2 beers in a lot of places. They didn't serve it. You just couldn't get they didn't want to serve you the malt liquor.
In Mexico, as long as you had the money, the dollar.
Same thing in the Philippines, as long as you had the money. As
long as you got when Mexico, the dollar, they couldn't care less how old you are. It could be 10, 12.
When I was in San Diego, when I first got there, I was 18. And like I said, California, the drinking age was 21. We used to go down to Tijuana a lot to go drinking. There was 3 bars in Tijuana back in those days that catered to the American crowd. Now, the American crowd consisted mostly of high schoolers and young college students. And then the military guys that would go down. And that's what the crowd was. And if somebody looked like they were Mexican, they would stop them at the door and ID them. And if they didn't have an American ID, they didn't get in unless they were with somebody. Because they didn't want the girls coming in, the streetwalkers coming in and cause, trying to get, you know what I'm saying, trying to do something. And they didn't want the guys coming in causing trouble. They were afraid that the crowds would mix and maybe have a fight. And
If you
so
understand.
yeah, it was just a separation. Now, if you want, I could go to any bar I wanted. There was other bars that were a mixture, of crowd. They would be Mexicans and Americans in there drinking, and I've been in those bars as well. And I walked into a bar or two where I got some very strange looks because I was the only American in there, and it seemed like all right, this crowd wants a Mexican crowd mostly, so I left. I didn't try to cause it. Just I got the feeling they didn't want me there, so I left. And but that's understandable. I mean, so a lot of times the Americans come in and might cause trouble with them. You know how some of us can be. We can be very cocky,
Yeah.
uh, very as the book said, we can be very ugly. You know, uh, So it's just if you make them uncomfortable, you might as well leave. Why do it? And hey, Moniz, how you doing? Now, for those of you that got here a little later that I haven't sent it to yet, drop an LLL, whether they're capital or small, does not matter. Just drop 3 L's, nothing before it, nothing after it, and my Nightbot will drop your link for you. And Tim did his earlier, so anybody else that wants to do it, go ahead. I haven't set up that well. I'm glad to hear you're doing good, and you're right. It's been a while since I've seen you. So we're glad you're here. But now Jerry's here. He'll probably drop out here in about what time is it? What, 20 minutes, Jerry?
Yeah, probably less than that. All the chickens are in.
Yeah.
Lock the door here.
Okay. You got the chickens put up.
Yeah, they're already in. A few more weeks is when daylight savings time ends.
Yeah. But yeah, what is it? The 22nd or the 21st?
21st is spring. First day of spring.
I think it's the day before, so it's probably the 20th. It
Yeah,
could be the day after. It could be the 22nd.
Is that Sunday?
And let me see something here real quick.
They're calling me
Because it'll tell me on my calendar. The 10th is daylight savings time. The 10th. So it's about a week.
next week. Next weekend.
A little over a week, actually.
Okay.
Before spring.
I'm gonna end the chat, the stream, because I'm gonna.
So yeah,
They're calling me.
So a week from today we change the clocks.
Yep.
Well, a week from tomorrow, excuse me.
From tomorrow, Sunday. I'm gonna say goodbye, Larry, in chat.
So
they're calling me from
yeah,
the Philippines.
I can't wait. I know you hate it, but I love it.
No, I don't like it. So you take care.
Because the reason why I like it so much, it's so much easier to keep track of Jerry, what happened, buddy? But it's so much easier to keep track of the time in the Philippines because it's exactly 12 hours. Right now it's 13. I can still do it. I'm capable of doing that math. It's just a lot easier to keep track, though, if it's 12 hours for me. But yeah, I'm sorry to see Jerry drop down, but maybe he'll come back up later. Anybody else want to come up? Come on up. I'm always willing to have company. I see no one's taking advantage of the Nightbot, but Tim did earlier. Well, I don't know if Deborah's still here or not, but Deborah, I know you have a nice channel. So does Christy. Larice has a really nice channel. Some of you guys I know, but I don't know what your channel. I don't know your channel as well. So I like the flowers there, Cindy. Thank you. and the hearts from Larice. We appreciate that. But yeah, but so like I said, we're trying to enjoy ourselves, trying to. Well, we've had quite a few people stop in, just didn't say anything. Be a lot nicer if people would stop and talk. I wish somebody would come up, but I understand why Jamie didn't come up. He said he was having a beer, so he didn't want to get in the box. I don't blame him. Mike, no, but Mike never comes up. Besides, it's getting close to time for him to talk to his wife. But Moniz, to answer your question from earlier, I do have a slight cold. I don't know if you can tell from a nasal expression, but yeah, a little pluggy, but it's all right. Like I said, I decided to change the camera angle. I'll probably go back to my normal camera angle next week when you don't see the bed. Who knows? Maybe I'll keep it like this. We'll have to make that decision later. There's my coffee pot. So when I'm in here in the morning on my days off, doing stuff on the computer, I can make myself a cup of coffee whenever I want one. I have an old coffee pot that I use to make coffee for my work days. That's in my kitchen. And one of these days, it's old enough that the burner's got a little rust on it. It'll eventually go bad, and I won't replace it. But that's all right. But like I said, we're getting close to my time of being over at Amazon. We'll be over here at the end of this month. I'll be transferred somewhere else to work. I'll lose a little money, but I keep my vacation time, which is to me right now is more important. This way, if I can take more time off to go see my family and still leave myself some time for just me, some me time, if I need it. If I was to stay at Amazon, I'd have to change companies, and I would lose all my vacation. And like I said, I won't be working long enough to get it back, and so that's not going to happen. Right now, I'm planning on taking at least 1 week in August. Some of my family on my mother's side wants to have a family reunion, so I want to go home for that. Which means I'll still do a live stream. I'll take my laptop with me and get a hotel room and do my live stream. Because, like I said, this is my form of entertainment. I no longer go out drinking. I no longer go to restaurants every week or every. I no longer go out for a cup of coffee every day. I drink my coffee at home or at work. I used to go out almost every day and get a cup of coffee and maybe a bite to eat. And that's not counting going out to actually eat. I'm talking about I go out and get a cup of coffee and maybe a piece of pie or a cake, with my coffee. Sometimes I would have nothing but the coffee. But here in the States, it's tradition that we leave a tip. So every time you go get a cup of coffee, you're out the money for the coffee plus the tip for the waitress, which I've never minded tipping for good service. But like I said, if you go out every day, which I went out almost every day for coffee, that money adds up. And so now I don't go out just for coffee. If I go out, I'm going to grab a bite, and I usually bring it back home and eat it. Or I have, well, you see the places, the food that I order from Dom's Pizza, my favorite pizza place, I have it delivered. And I still give a tip to the driver, but that's once a week. It's not as much as I used to do. I've cut way back on it. And this is something I need to cut back on. So I did. Like I said, I used to go out all the time by myself. I rarely do that anymore. Like I said, I don't go out just for a cup of coffee. Unless I'm meeting somebody, I might go out with them for a cup of coffee. But to go out by myself for a cup of coffee, I'll make a cup or a pot here at home and just drink it here at home. It's a lot cheaper. I can sit here and watch TV or get on the internet and catch up on some of my YouTube people that I try to follow, like I did today. I did some YouTube. I watch the TV shows I like to watch. I always watch them at least a day later because that way I don't have to watch the commercials. I pay a little extra for that, but it saves me time, and I don't mind paying a little extra not to have to watch commercials I don't want to see. If I could pick the commercials, I wouldn't pay for it. Hey, Exact, how you doing? Welcome. I did really love that song. That was a nice little video there. Thank you. And now, Exact, if you want to drop your channel, just type in LLL, and my Nightbot will drop your channel for you. 3 L's, nothing before it, nothing after it, and your channel will be dropped. And that's all it's got to do. Hopefully, everything will be cool. Huh. That's a trip. I just noticed on my desktop, the hearts look black, but on my phone, they're red. I wonder why that is. Oh well, nothing I can nothing I can do. But yeah, I think a lot of you know Exact. She goes into a few of the channels I go into. Lovely young lady, and I like her music videos that she does, they're very entertaining. I think usually I really like the songs as well. But like I said, Maurice knows I like her channel. There's quite a few channels I actually like, and I'll go in and try to support in some ways. But we do what we can. So, man, today just going to be outside of Jerry, just going to be me today, huh? Well, I guess that's okay. Now, I want to say I hope everybody's March is starting off well. And I know mine has. Like I said, tomorrow, which is already there in the Philippines, is already the 3rd. March 3rd was a Wednesday that year. 25 years ago, I quit smoking. Hey, Megan. How you doing, Megan? Welcome. No, Zach, this is almost 8 o'clock at night. It's not quite at 8, but it's almost 8 o'clock at night. I don't drink coffee this late at night. I drink Coke Zero. As you can see, it's Coke Zero. Zero carbohydrates, which is what I try to cut back on. Hey, Charmaine, how you doing? Well, appreciate the raid there, Charmaine and Larice. Appreciate the raid. And so, yeah, just the older I get, the later I drink coffee, the harder it is for me to sleep. It just seems to be that way now. When I was younger, I could drink coffee right up to the time I went to bed, go to bed, and sleep. I can't do that anymore. I used to go through 2 or 3 pots of coffee a day when I was in my late teens and early 20s. I always was drinking coffee, and now in my late teens and early 20s, I had cream and sugar. It was around 19 or 20, somewhere in there, I quit cream and sugar. I was in the Navy. The reason why I quit using cream and sugar both is when I was standing to watch at night, and you go down and get a cup of coffee. One time they might have cream and sugar both. The next time they might have cream, no sugar, or they may have sugar, no cream. And I just got tired of not knowing how I was going to get my coffee. The guy asked me if I wanted a cup of coffee. He was going down and get himself a cup. He said he'd get me a cup. And I said, sure, I'll take a cup of coffee. He said, how do you want it? I said, just make it black. And I was, like I said, right around 19 or 20 when this happened. And I've been drinking it black ever since. And Like I said, you never knew what they were going to have, and then you had to tell the person, well, put in 1 or 2 teaspoons of sugar, and drop just a little bit of cream or whatever. It's just like make it black, and that's the way I've been drinking it ever since. It took a little bit of getting used to, but once you got used to it, I like it that way. I still drink it black. I don't think I'll ever change that. But I talk about coffee. I was in Taiwan. I was 19, and this was my first trip to Taiwan. We was in Kaohsiung, and I went to this tea bar, and so went in, and there's mostly a lot of Chinese in there, very few Americans, and they're sitting around drinking, hot tea, and I ordered a cup of coffee, and they brought me a glass of coffee full of cream and sugar, cold. I said, "What's that?" I said, "That's coffee." I said, "No, no, no, no. I want hot coffee, black, no cream, no sugar." And they looked at me like I had two heads. But they made me enough for 2 cups. And after that, whenever I went in, I'd tell them I wanted hot black coffee. They'd make me a couple cups, and that's what I had. I went in there quite a bit at night after I'd be in the bars for a while and decide, well, it's about time to go back to ship. Hey, Reed, I would stop in and have a couple cups of coffee before I went back to the ship. Because we had to wait to catch a boat out to the ship. They had a kind of like a taxi, but it was the ship itself provided it. It was a mite boat that you get in, and they'd hold quite a few people, and they'd take you from the pier out to the ship. Then you climb off that onto the gangplank and go up and get on board the ship. But they ran at certain times, and you know what times they were, so you just stop. And I usually had time. I'd stop and have a couple cups of coffee, and I did meet some other people in there. I met a couple of English sailors in there that were merchant mariners. Got to know them. They were young and liked to talk. And a friend of mine, Chris, he was from Washington State, but he lived next door to a couple that were from England. Matter of fact, they were from Liverpool area, which is where the Beatles are from, the music group, the Beatles. And he had their accent down perfect. Because, like I said, he learned to imitate them when he was very young. They were next door neighbors. And they'd tell him all about Liverpool and all the different neighborhoods. And he knew that town, that area, like he actually lived there. And we're in there. Now, this was in Hong Kong, not Taiwan, but we're in this place in Hong Kong. And he's talking like a limey. That's what we call the English. They call us Yanks. Well, he's in there talking like a limey, and he's talking to this guy, and the guy asked him where he's from. He told him Liverpool. The guy said, "Well, that's where I'm from." And Chris started naming off different places there. The guy said, "Yeah, I know where that is." He said, "I don't live that far from it." And Chris is going on like he knows all that whole area, like that's where he's from. The guy said, "Well, how come you're in the American service?" He said, "Well, my family moved over to the American, and when I was younger, and I decided to join, the Navy." And he's going on. We're talking. When we get up to leave, he just turns around, looks at him in perfect American English, says, "We'll see you later, man. Take care." And oh, by the way, I'm not English. And we walked out. But Chris was a cut up. He was my running mate. Well, in the Navy, if a guy's your running mate, that's one of your best friends. And Chris was one of my running mates. I had a couple of them. And Chris was a trip, man. He's still out in San Diego, married to his girlfriend out there. They've been out there since 77. They've been back out there since 77. So, but yeah, wouldn't mind going out and catching up with him, but I haven't talked to him in a long time. Another friend of mine that did a career in the Navy, he's in Iowa or Nebraska. He's in one of those two states. He was from Nebraska, but he lived in Iowa for a while. I think that's where he's at now. And that was my other friend, my other running mate. That was Marv Jurgens. Matter of fact, Marv married my cousin Linda. But Linda passed away. And so he ended up staying in the service and ended up getting remarried later. Jonah Lynn, how you doing, Jonah? Welcome. Welcome. Glad to see you here. Sechmuchi, how you doing? It's the raid. We're glad to see you guys. Glad Larissa is having the raid. That helps my viewing. And we're trying to do well. I hope you both are doing well, John Lynn and Sechmuchi. I hope you're doing well. And if either one of you wants to drop your channel link, just type in LLL, and my Nightbot will drop your channel link. So, I know not everybody has a channel, so that's up to you. I watched YouTube and was in live streams long before I ever had a channel where I was putting up content. And matter of fact, it was because of my nickname Lazy Larry that I made my first video, because everybody's always going, how come lazy? You're always working. Well, I made a video, a talking head video. For those of you that don't know, a talking head is where I'm doing this, but I don't have people in the chat. It's just me talking. There's nothing else. I'm not answering questions. I just do a talking head and explain what I'm talking about. So I told everybody how I got the nickname and why I use it. Then later on, I changed my channel name to Lazy Larry Lee. So I did another talking head video to explain why I changed the channel to Lazy Larry Lee. But many of you have seen a lot of my videos, so you know there's a lot more than that. And I don't have too many talking head videos. I do have some. I'm not a fan of, I don't mind talking head videos for some people. I'm just not a fan of doing them because I think you need to know more about certain subjects than most people. And I'm not that person. I know a lot about a little. I know a little about a lot of things, but not a lot about any other thing. I mean, if it's not me, I don't know a lot about anything. I know a little. I know a little bit about education. I know a little bit about law enforcement. I know a little bit about travel, but I'm not an expert on anything besides myself. I don't think doing talking heads about myself is that exciting. I have told people stories about some of the things I've done in the past. They found them fascinating, but I would not find it fascinating sitting here talking about those things. I would find it self-serving. I mean, it's one thing to talk to a person that you know and you're sitting there changing stories. And they ask you something about, like, what did you do when you were in the Navy? Where'd you go? You tell them stories about it. That's one thing. They're interested. They're asking you. You're not just sitting there, yeah, I was in the Navy from 1972 to 1978. I went here, here, and here. I did this, this, and this. And I just, it's not something I did it, and I wouldn't be lying about any of it, but I just don't know how many people would find that interesting. A lot of us think we've done nothing interesting, but we have to somebody else. But, to me, it was just my life. It's just what I did. And so I don't get all that excited about it. It's like, well, in my story about Lazy Larry Lee, before I was Lazy Larry Lee, it was my second talking head video. I talked about how my family moved a lot. And by the time I was 13, I lived in 18 different houses. And my older sister, hey, Princess Sarah, how you doing? Welcome. Now, my older sister lived probably in over 20 some houses. But, that's just that's how come my family is close. Because a lot of times when you moved, the only people you knew was your family. Now, sometimes we moved some places where we weren't that far from where we lived. One time we moved maybe 3 blocks. So everybody I knew, I still knew. Uh, so, there's other times where I moved a couple of miles, but I was still in the same school. So that my schoolmates were all the same, just my neighbors were different. But, that happened a few times. But like I said, the one thing I could always count on was my family. I mean, my sisters. I have 3 older sisters. I had an older brother, a younger brother, and a younger sister. I can always count on my older sisters and my brother and my younger brother and younger sister. Now, they gave me more trouble, but that's because they were younger. That was their job. Their job was, just to kind of bother you a little bit in some ways. Now, I won't get into that. I love my sisters, and I miss my brothers. But that's the way it is. Like I said, there are times they I don't. Hey, Jalen, how you doing, Jalen? Nobody can get under your skin like a sibling, and that's the truth of it. They can get under your skin easier and quicker than anybody else. Even my parents, I don't think, would get under my skin as quick as my sisters. And maybe that's just me, but that's the way I look at it. I love my sisters, but they, uh, as an adult, I couldn't live with any of my sisters, I don't think. But that's because we're so different. And that's the way it should be. I mean, living close to them is one thing, but living with them would be a whole different ballgame. I'm doing pretty good, Jalen. I have a cold, but that's it. We're getting over it. I think, and a cold takes excuse me, a cold takes a week or two to get over, really. And well, and this kind of weather right here, this kind of weather that I'm going through right now is not good. One day this week it was up around 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which would probably be around 15 or 20 Celsius. And the next day it was like 23 degrees, I think, for the high for Fahrenheit, which would be about 6 degrees below, minus 6 degrees Celsius. And the low was like 10 or 12 below Celsius, minus 10 or 12 Celsius. It was in the teens in the Fahrenheit. So it just kind of weather up and down plays havoc with your system. One of the things I really hate about the winter. Hey Shane, how you doing? Welcome. And one of the things about, like I said, that I hate about winter. The cold is not the worst thing about winter to me. It's one of the things I hate, but it's number 3 on the list. Number 2 is snow. And I think most of you know I hate snow. But there's one thing I hate more than snow or cold. That's called ice. You'll get ice on the roads where the snow melts or whatever, and then it freezes. And it's very slippery to walk on, very dangerous to drive in, and all that good happy stuff. It's just not safe to have a lot of ice around on the roads or the sidewalks and stuff like that. You'll have what they call freezing rain, which is rain that freezes as it's coming down, and it'll make everything really slick. Now, if you're out in the country and it gets on the trees and the morning sun comes up and it just glistens like it's sparkling, it just sparkles, gorgeous to look at. But it can be deadly. Ice will bring down trees because of the weight. If you get too much weight, too much ice, it'll make it almost impossible to get into your car. Because when I'm talking about ice, it can be a half an inch or more thick on your car at times, and it just makes it real hard to get the ice off and get in your car and go anywhere. It makes it really dangerous to drive. Like I said, you really got to be careful of that kind of stuff. And, I've grown up with this everywhere I've lived outside of when I was in the service. We had that kind of stuff. When I was in the Navy in San Diego, we didn't have it. Washington State, I was along the coast. You had black ice once in a while, but the average winter temperature in the part of Washington State I lived in, lows were in the 30s, the highs were in the 50s. So to put it into Celsius, it would be like 0 to 5 degrees Celsius for the low, to about 10, maybe 15 for the high, somewhere in there. Which, you're not going to get a lot of snow. You're not going to get a lot of ice. The only time you got to worry about ice is in the morning. I lived on base, so I didn't have to worry about it. But it could happen. I know that people had wrecks because of the what they call black ice. It's ice that you can't see that's on the road. Because you just can't see it, so it's known as black ice. And that can happen anywhere that you can get ice. And it's, like I said, so as you can understand, in those kind of situations, I really, really don't like winter. When I retire, I want to go somewhere warm, and that's why one of the things I like about the Philippines is it's warm year round. Another thing I like about the Philippines, English is widely spoken there. Another thing I like about the Philippines, all the Filipinos I used to work with in the Navy and all the ones I met elsewhere have always been friendly. They're good people that's family oriented. Now, I know everybody has their gold diggers, everybody has their con artists, and everybody has their thieves. That's everywhere. We have that here. We got, it's everywhere. So some people are trying to say, they're a bunch of con. No. The majority of the people are very friendly, very intelligent, very kind. At least that's my experience, and that's what I go by. It's my experience. Like I said, I lived and worked with a lot of Filipinos. So I have firsthand knowledge of that. But like I said, the weather's great. The people are nice. The cost of living is a lot more affordable in the Philippines than here in the States. I can actually live comfortably, and I mean comfortably, in the Philippines on my Social Security when I finally do retire. I'll be able to have a nice place to live. I won't have to worry about paying my rent, paying my utilities, having enough food to eat on a monthly basis, and having some money to go out and do stuff. I'll have all that money, and I'll have money to save money. Rhoda, how you doing? Welcome. Alabama's back. So anyway, those are things that attract me to the Philippines. Hello, sir. How you doing? Ken, welcome to my channel. This is the first time I've seen you here. I've seen you in other places, but I think this is the first time I've seen you here. So let me give you a monitor. Now, Ken, if you want to drop your link, just type in LLL, and my Nightbot will drop your link for you. Now, everybody, I'm just gonna mute my mic and drop my camera for a moment. I'm not going anywhere, but I gotta blow my nose, and I don't want you guys to have to listen to it. Like I said, I had to take care of that. I mean, I don't think that's anything that anybody wants to see. Now, Ken, I don't know if you heard me, but if you have a channel, just type in 3Ls. It doesn't matter if they're cap or little, small. It can be a mixture of the two. But don't put anything before it or anything after it. And my Nightbot will drop your link to your channel. If you want to come up and talk about your channel, come on up. I like having visitors. I really like doing a panel. But not everybody's comfortable coming up and talking. Hey, BCM, how you doing? Welcome. And Larice must be doing a raid on me. Larice, if you're there, thanks for the raid. I really appreciate it. And ABCM's got a good channel. I don't know which channel I know you from, Kim, but I've seen you before, I'm sure. There you go. Yeah, Ken's a very new vlogger, people, so really give him some love. And like I said, Ken, if you want to come up and talk about your channel, come on up. Like I said, I started vlogging. Originally, when I first started, I just did it all on my own. Then I started having some people come up on the panel, and I enjoy the panel. I enjoy having somebody come up and we'll talk back and forth, answer questions. They can talk about their channel, whatever. It just, to me, that's more enjoyable than me just rambling on about myself. Like I said, I can do it. When I first started doing it, I did it for a couple hours with nobody else up. I think the longest I ever went without a guest was like 3 hours. With a guest, I went 6. Hey, Tim, you take care. I don't know if it's your girlfriend coming over or your driver, but you take it easy, man. Get some rest. Be safe. Okay, I understand, kid. Makes sense if you're on the phone with your girlfriend not to come up. Believe me, I know. Like I said, I'm not married, but I have had girlfriends, and it's been a while since I've even dated, and I'm not going to date right now because I don't want somebody to try to change my mind on what I want to do with my life. I'm getting too close to what I want to do that. When you're my age, the girls you date, especially here in the States, when you're dating somebody here in the States, my age, they're either got grandkids or kids and they don't want to leave them. I mean, that's understandable. I mean, that's my sister's that way. She won't leave where she's at because her kids are in that area and her grandkids, although her grandkids may not end up staying there, they're both off in college. My other sister, her daughter and granddaughter live close to her. They don't, but who knows what's going to happen there. That's the oldest of my family is a girl, and the youngest in my family is a girl. And there's quite a bit of age difference between them. Like I said, my older sister's 2 grandkids, 2 grandsons, are both in college. And my youngest sister's granddaughter is still in junior high. So, I mean, there's quite a bit of difference there. But that's life. And like I said, right now, I don't know how many of you know it, but I'm 70. I'll be 71 this year. So if I'm going to be dating somebody, they're going to be more than likely in their 60s. Maybe their 50s, but they're going to be 50s or 60s. Let's be honest about it here in the States. I'm not going to be dating no 40 or 30-year-old. That's not going to happen here in the States, which is fine with me. I wouldn't want to date one anyway here in the States. Just it was like yesterday I was at a Walmart and I was getting ready to walk in front of somebody. So I said, excuse me, to be polite to let them know, hey, I'm going in front of you, And I was going to say, thank you after I walked by, but she got real snooty. And I felt like telling her where she could go. And, like I said, I was just trying to be polite. Hey, look, I'm going in front of you. Be careful. Don't want to, hurt you or anything. I'm just trying to get by. And they were standing there at some door looking at it, but they were far enough back that I either had to walk behind them fairly close to them or walk in front of them. But I'd rather walk in front of them so I don't startle them as much. I'm sorry, Jamie. I know that, but I'm not interested. My age, a girl under 30 probably still wants kids, and I don't. I mean, if they have a kid, that's one thing. But I don't want to have one of my own. Not at my age. The reason for that is I want to be around when they graduate. If I have a kid, I want to be around when they graduate from high school. And that would put me in my late 80s, maybe 90s, because of my age right now. I don't have a kid on the way. I'm going to be close to 90. And that's a little, I may make it. Like I said, in my family, there's quite a few that have made it to the 90, but that does not mean I will. Like I said, neither one of my brothers made it to 60. My one brother didn't even make it to 40. My dad made it to only 61. So just because my grandfather and great grandfather and my mom's older brother and my mom all made it into their 90s, and her uncle on her mother's side made it into his 90s, doesn't mean I'm going to. I would love to do it as long as I have my health. Uh, no, it might not be, Jeremy, but like I said, it would really, if I'm going with somebody under 50, it's really going to have to, it would really surprise me if I went out with somebody under 50. I appreciate that, Jeremy. Danny tells me the same thing. He'd like me to move to Duval so that you guys don't have another neighbor. Now, if I moved to Duval area, it would be Duval itself. Uh, I like the fact that they got the 911 system there. I'd have to check out their hospital, but the thing I got against Duval is they got a little more earthquakes. But hey, I lived in California for a while, so earthquakes I've been through. So I can't say that would be a complete. How should I say that? It's not the complete deal killer, but it's something I would have to take consideration. I don't think I'd want to live in a high rise in Duval because of that. So it'd have to be a house or something like that I would rent. I can't testify about the volcanoes. Hey, Alfie. But like I said, I have been through an earthquake. I mean, yeah, an earthquake a time or two. Matter of fact, back home in Indiana, I felt an earthquake one time. I was sitting at my mom's house, sitting in a recliner kicked back, and the chair started shaking. And I thought, whoa, earthquake. And it was a light. I doubt if it was even a 2. And it was far enough away that it really wasn't right on top of us. And my little sister called me. She lived out in the country, and the plates and glasses all started rattling, and she thought a bomb or something went off somewhere. And she asked me if I knew what was going on. And I said, "Oh, just a little earthquake." You thought I told her there was a bomb that went off close to her. I mean, oh my God, that scared the bejesus out of her. I said, "Carla, it was just a minor earthquake. It's no big deal." And I mean, it was a couple hundred miles away. Yeah, maybe not a couple hundred, but it was about 150, 200 miles, somewhere in there. And, but like I said, it was only about a 2. It wasn't that big. And it didn't do any structural damage in our area at all. Even though we're not built for earthquakes, but it was far enough away that nothing was damaged. Like, matter of fact, I'm not sure if my mom, but at least my sister and my other sister, one of my sisters and my mom were walking down the street, and they didn't even feel it. They never felt it at all. Hey, Annie, I forgot to tell you hi too. Oh, wait a minute. Now, hold on here. I didn't realize that. Sorry, you two. Did not realize you didn't have monitor status. There you go. Sorry about that, girls. Well, welcome to Monitorhood. Now, any of you that I don't know if you did it yet, Jamie, or not, but just type in LLL, and my Nightbot will drop your link if you have a channel. So, Alfie, Annie, Jamie, Cindy, any of you that Larice, just type in 3 L's, and my Nightbot will drop your channel for you. And we had Ken, the Kentucky Fan Movies. He typed his in. We discovered he only has 44 followers. So people, please go ahead and hook up with Ken if you can. He's only got 44 subscribers. So yeah, it just, like I said, it wouldn't be a deal killer. It's something I would have to take in consideration, especially on where I was living in that area. Like I said, to me, that would be more of the bottom floor, or so you can get out quickly, or a house, I would think. So a better chance that if there is an earthquake, better chance you can get away from the structure and not get hurt, because that's something you got to worry about. You can't let it dictate everything, but you got to take that in consideration. Also, a thing I got to take in consideration is, like I said, some of you guys will have a lot more money in your retirement, whether it's Social Security or whatever kind of retirement you have, than I will have. So I have to take in consideration the cost of where I live, and the cost of the housing, the cost of produce and meat and fuel and all that stuff. All that has to be taken into consideration. Right now, I'm doing quite well, but I got my Social Security and I'm working, and so that's why I'm doing so well. And I'll be honest about it. I got a very good paying job right now. Hey Percy, how you doing? Anime, welcome back. But like I said, it's the best paying job I've had. I can't say it's the best paying job if you had the cost of living difference from way back when. I had a really good paying job back in the 70s to what the job pays now. Was it 70s? Yeah, late 70s to now. I mean, if you look at the cost of the cost of living and the inflation rates, I don't know which one would be the better paying job. But for the last 20 years, maybe longer, this is the best paying job I've had. I am going to give it up because, like I said, I don't want to give up my vacation. I will go back to my probably third, maybe my second best paying job. It's going to be right in there. But it's closer to where I live. I won't use as much gas because I've driven this route, a very similar route to this that I'm going to be driving before, and I got much better gas mileage driving that on a daily basis, and so that'll help me cut back on the amount of gas I go through. Plus, like I said, it's fewer mileage through the car, so that also helps with your gas, which will help cut back on some of the loss that I'm getting, but not make up all of it. But that's fine. Like I said, you gotta, like I said, whenever you make a choice, you gotta decide what's best for yourself. And for me, it's best to have the time off from work, the vacation time, than it is the money. And, so it'd be nice to have that money for the next few years. I was hoping this job would last until I retired. Hey, lady, how you doing, lady? Laddie, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, Laddie. Laddie? Laddie, me? So how you doing? Welcome. Another one coming from the raid from Larice. We appreciate it. So anyway, like I said, it just I had to decide which was more important to me, the money or my vacation time and my ability to go back and see my family in Indiana. My family won out. It's that simple. I got to go back and see my mom at least a week to 2 weeks every year. I should have. There was times I didn't do that, and I regret that. Now, when I first moved out here, my oldest sister could testify if she was here that I went back home quite a bit. But I used to work so many days in a row, get a couple off, work so many days in a row, get 4 days off. For the 4 days off during the summer months, I would go back to Terre Haute almost all the time. And so I put a lot of miles on my car, but I went back home about once a month, every 3 weeks. I was going back home and visiting my mother and my sisters. And at that time, my younger brother was still alive, so I was going back and visit the family and cousins. And my sister would go with me occasionally. She didn't go with me every time, but she'd go with me. So, like I said, 4 days, I could drive there all the way without stopping, get some sleep, spend the time with the family, and drive back. But I was a lot younger. Like I said, we're talking 25 years ago. And so that was something I could handle back then. I mean, driving 12 hours or 10 or 12 hours and not spend the night anywhere that was nothing. I'd take off. I was working 8 to 4 a lot. I'd get off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'd drive straight through to Terre Haute, go in. They would know I was coming, and they'd have the door unlocked. I'd go in, climb into bed, go to sleep, wake up the next day, and run around with the family. And then the day before I had to be back at work, I'd take off in the morning, drive back to where I was living. Depends on at the time. Most of the time that was in Leroy. I could have been in Batavia. And I would drive back. I'd get back in the afternoon, and I'd go to bed, get a normal night's sleep, get up and go to work the next day. And that was something at that age I could do continuously. It didn't bother me. And so, but then I lost those 4-day weekends because, people didn't like no, I got to have certain days off every week. Can't figure. It was the silliest reasons I ever heard. And so we went to having just 2 days off a week, except for the part-timer, and he'd have 3 days off. And it would to me, it was ridiculous, but I was outvoted, so we had to do what the majority said. I would have continued working that kind of shift. I'd still be doing that if I could. It's just like I would love to work 4 10-hour days or 4 12s. They have 3 days a week off. I would love that. I've worked 4 10s. Did that a few times. Love it. You get 3 days off in a row. And I have people say, oh, no, I don't like those 10. I said, you're there for 8 already. What's another 2 hours? 4 days, and you get an extra day off. To me, that's a no-brainer. Do it. But not everybody wants to do it. And I understand that. There's some people just don't like it. I'm sorry, it's not me. The less time I can work, make the same amount of money, the better I like it. Give me 4 10. That's still 40. I still get the same pay, and I get 3 days off. To me, that's a win. It's a big-time win. I'm sorry, folks. My throat's a little dry, so let me have a drink. But, so I want to thank you all for coming. I wish somebody else would come up, but it doesn't look like anybody's else going to come up. So I think what's going to happen is I'm probably going to drop down now. I've been going for over an hour and a half. And I'm running out of things just to talk about, so it's kind of like rambling on. So I want to thank you all for coming, and I want to remind you all to be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Plus, as always, try to have fun. Love you all. Take care now. Peace.